we are going to need our pattern. I highly, my cats that are going to be bugging us today are Calypso. She's a calico cat. And we might have a Freya, and we might get one of the orange punks. one or more of the triplets. So those are orange. So they might be visiting us or making noise in the background. So I apologize for that. Otherwise, just enjoy the noise. It's not a cat scratcher. Okay. We're going to be working on Between Two Hearts. I highly recommend that you go and pick up the pattern from Etsy or Ravelry, so that way you can have it next to you and we can work this together. We're going to be doing the center part in the video and one side, and then the border because it does repeat on the other side, and I will set you up for that. And then you can rewind and either watch the video or read the pattern, okay? We are going to need a needle, so that way we can hide our ends and tuck in our ends when we need to. We're going to have a few of those. I'm going to be working with my go-to yarn, which is a Red Heart Natural or Ecru. I think they stopped putting Ecru on there because nobody can pronounce it. I always pronounce it Ecru. So we're going to need a hook. These particular ones are 1.75 metric or millimeter or US size 6. These are the ones from these happen to be the ones from the L'Oreal hair dye where we used to put or frost your hair with those stupid little hats and pull it through the holes. So that's what these are. They're great hooks. So if you ever come across them, feel free to use them. They're great. We are also going to need a couple stitch markers just to make sure that it's centered for when you do the opposite side, okay? So I'm going to pre-open those ones and have those all set. I'm not a stitch marker person until I came across these handy dandy little things, and I absolutely love them. So, okay, let's get started here. Let me turn to the first page. And it was suggested by one of my testers that I start putting the little names on the bottom. So I'm going to start putting little initials on the bottom. So Between Two Hearts, you have B2H. Okay, so that way if your patterns ever get separated, you will be able to do that. I do have a mic on today, so hopefully this is a little bit louder for all of you. If not, I do apologize if it comes in and out, and we will just get started. This is a relatively quick one to make up, so you don't have to, because it's simple back and forth, repeat. It's nothing major, okay? This can be done in a thicker yarn as well. So we are, oh, glitter, glitter, glitter. If you don't like my waffling on, I do apologize. I am a talker. And if you don't like my handy dandy bracelets, the noise of them, just remember in some cultures that they get shaken and they ward off evil spirits. So just take that as you will. Okay. We're going to start with a simple slip stitch. You can use a magic circle if you would like, but it's not necessary for this particular pattern. We're going to chain 6, and then we're going to join in the first one to make a ring. Okay, we're going to then chain 3. And I always work over my tail, that way I don't have to hide it later, and I can snip it. Okay, to make that a little bit easier, what I do is I will wrap it around, and then I will pick up one of the little chains, slip it in there, and I'm still going to be working over it. You don't have to do this. This might be complicated to some, but this way I don't have to secure it later. So it works out a lot easier for me. Okay, and then I just tighten it later. Okay, so working over the tail, I am going, I know, so many things happening, isn't there? Let's find the opening here. Okay, and we're going to put 15 double crochet in that hole. Okay, we're going to end up with 16 because this one is going to count as our first one. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, come on, 6, 7, 8, come on, I said 8, 8, oh, for crying out loud, 8, 9, 10, give it a little slide, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, now we're going to join with a slip stitch in the top of that beginning chain right there. Okay, make sure you have 16 around in there. Remember that first one counts as 16. I have a little bit of a tail sticking out here. I'm going to trim that. Remember, I secured that and tucked that all in and everything, so that's not going to go anywhere. Now we're going to chain 5, and this is going to count as our first double crochet and chain 2 space. We're going to then double crochet into the next stitch, and we're going to chain 2, and then double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, and we're going to repeat that all the way around. You should end up with 16 double crochets and 16 chain 2 spaces. Callie's over here exploring. Calypso, we call her Callie. Okay, we are going to end with a chain 2, and we're going to join in the 3rd chain of the beginning. Okay, trying to go slow. Slow down my brain for everybody and my fingers, which makes it a little more harder to do for me, okay? But it's just I can't slow down for some reason. Okay, let me grab a sip of coffee, and I'm going to go find some chapstick, too, if I can find my chapstick. There's my chapstick. Okay. Okay, we're going to be starting round 3. Now, round 3, we're going to make little tiny hearts, okay? And this is going to come to play at the end when you find the right side and the wrong side, okay? Because on the wrong side, they're going to be kind of puffed, and on the right side, they're going to be flat, okay? And to me, they just look a little bit better flat, but if you like them the other way, then do the other way. It's up to you, okay? So we're going to chain 1, and we're going to put 2 single crochets in each of the next 2 chain spaces, so here and here, okay? So we're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2. Now in this stitch, we're going to be making a heart, okay? So we are going to single crochet in there. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2. We are then going to 2 DC tog, or 2 double crochet together, or other version of this is 2 double crochet cluster, okay? And we're going to put that right in top of here. So we're going to yarn over and go through. I like to go through 2 of the loops right there. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to yarn over and go back through those 2 little right there. Yarn over, pull through 2, and then we're going to pull through the rest, okay? Now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to slip stitch into that same little space there. It's going to be a little tricky to finagle. There you go. Then we are going to chain 2 again. Right back in that same spot, we're going to do another 2 DC tog. Then we're going to chain 2 and slip stitch back into there once more. Okay. And then before we look at that real quick, let's go and put 2 single crochets in each of the next 2, and that way it'll be a little bit easier to show you. 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm going to put a little chain here just so I can hang on to that. Okay, don't do this. This is just me, so that way it's helping you see the little heart, so I can take out my hook easier. So yeah, you can see it formed a little itty bitty heart right there on top of that single crochet. Okay, so let's do that once more in the next one. Let me get rid of my little chains here. Okay, we're going to single crochet in that stitch. We're going to chain 2. We're going to work a DC tog in top of that. My thread over here needs to be pulled. Okay, work it through that one. Then we're going to chain 2. And we're going to go back right through the top of that and do a single crochet. We're going to chain 2 once more, do another DC tog in top of that stitch. For those who don't like doing piquets or pickets or whatever you want to call them, this is not going to be fun for you. But it's super cute. I lost my concentration, lost all my loops. Okay, let's finish that DC tog there. Oh, come on. Okay, we're going to chain 2. I'll do that one more time, don't worry. Come on. Come on, baby cakes. There we go. Okay, before I show you that one, we're going to put 2 single crochets in each of the next 2 right here. Okay, I'm just going to make it a little thing so I can show you. So now we have 2 hearts. Okay, so you're basically going to make a heart. You're going to have 2 single crochets, 2 single crochet, heart, 2 single crochet, 2 single crochet, heart. And you repeat that all the way around. I'm going to do one more heart, and then I will meet you on the other side. Pull out my chains here. Okay, single crochet, chain 2, DC tog on top of that, going to chain 2, slip stitch in there, come on, okay, we're going to chain 2 again, we're going to put another DC tog in there, okay. I'm going to chain 2, put another slip stitch right in there, okay, and then we're going to put 2 single crochets in the next one, 2 single crochets in the next one. Like I said, we're going to repeat all the way around there. Let me make a little, I hope that's not confusing anybody, but it's just easier for me to take out so I can show you. You can see that the wrong side, you have the little puffy stitches, so if you do like them puffed more, you can always use that side if you desire. I like the flat, but that's okay. That's my opinion, but you might like them a little puffy. It's all good, okay? So I'm going to keep working, and I will meet you over at the single crochet that we started the row with, okay? coming to make the last heart here. And it's actually going to be in the beginning right here. Okay, so we're going to put a single crochet there and make our last heart just like we did with the other ones. Come on, baby. We're going to put that slip stitch on top of there to finish the heart off. And now to finish the row, what we're going to do is slip stitch in each of the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. This will put us in between the hearts here, right above the next center stitch. So we should have 8 little hearts, okay? Now at this point, if you like the flat ones, keep that way. And if you like the little puffy, now would be the time to work it over and kind of flip the whole piece, okay, and work the opposite way. But we are going to go and do the flat side. Okay, let me turn my paper here. We are on page 3, round 4. We're going to chain 14 from this spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Nice, beautiful, tight stitches there. And this is going to count as chain 12 and our first double crochet of the row, okay? Then we're going to skip the stitches and skip the heart and go right above the double crochet in the center here, okay? So if you don't feel like counting, you don't need to count. Just center that stitch right above that DC in between the hearts, okay? Now for the next one, we're going to chain 12, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, we're going to double crochet right on top of that one again. And we're going to continue that all the way around. And we're going to join in the second chain of the beginning. Okay, I will meet you around there and we will join that together. Okay, we are, ooh, come on. We are now on the last one, and this will be joining. So we got to crochet our 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, come on baby, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, we're going to slip stitch in the second chain. Okay, maybe. Okay, we are now going to, we are on round 5. We're going to slip stitch in each of the next 3 chains here. So, 1, 2, 3. Oops, sorry, this is 3. Okay, and that was my boom. That was my boom. Then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to put a double crochet, chain 2, then put 2 DC in here. 1, 2, and this is going to be what's called a beginning shell. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I went 4 here. I can't do 4. I got to do 3, because otherwise I won't have that much room. Boop. So 1, 2, 3. Let's do that beginning shell again. Chain 3, DC, chain 2, put 2 double crochets in there. 1, 2. This is going to be known as a beginning chain or beginning shell, and this will be throughout the pattern. Okay, we're then going to chain 2, and in the same area or same little spot here, we're going to put 2 DC, chain 2, 2 DC. Okay, so then in the next little space right here, we're going to put a shell, a chain 2, and a shell. Nothing in between. 1, 2 DC, chain 2, 1, 2, that's 1 shell made, chain 2, 1 DC, 2 DC, chain 2, and then 2 more DC. Okay. Now we're going to be doing that in each one of these, and I will meet you over here when we go to join. Okay, we're just finishing up our last shell here, and then we will be join with just a regular slip stitch in top of that beginning chain. Okie dokie. Let's set it down and make sure that we have all of our stitches in the right place here. We have 2 shells, 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 all the way around, okay? It's better to double check at the end of each row than to go back and go, oh no, and then you have to frog. Okay, now a quick little tip. When you are blocking this, you can actually go in between the shells and pull it down just a little bit. You can do that now. It'll actually tighten up the row. Okay, and this will give you almost a little heart type look. If when you block, you can pin those down, and it almost gives you a little heart shape frame around each one of those. Okay, I'm going to do that real quick because it will help with so it doesn't look like it's wobbly. You can do that at the end, or you can do it now. It's up to you, or not do it at all. You can do that too. I just think it adds a little something something. Okay, there we go. And you can kind of see how it frames that in. Okay, frames in the little hearts. Okie dokie, we're going to start round 6, and we're going to do that by slip stitching into the next one. I generally just, you can crochet, you can slip stitch into that stitch, and then into there I generally just chain 1 and pop it over there. Okay, it's a lot easier than trying to do a slip stitch into the top of the stitch. Okay, we're going to do our beginning shell, chain 2. Actually, it's chain 3, sorry about that, because it's a regular DC. And then we're going to be putting a double crochet. Oh, my yarn keeps wanting to split on me. A chain 2, and then 2 DC, and that gives us our beginning shell. Now we're going to chain 2, and we're going to shell in the next shell space. My hands let me. Chain 2, DC, DC. Okay, and then chain 2. And we're going to repeat this shell and a chain 2 in each one of the shells all the way around, and I will meet you at the end here, ending with a chain 2, okay? Okay, we are now working on our last shell of the row, or round. This will give us one beginning shell and 15 regular shells. We will join in the top of the beginning chain there. Okay, make sure we have all of our little things. Like I said, if you bring those down, it will tighten up that row just a bit, okay? This will flatten out more as we keep going around, so you don't have to worry about it wiggly wiggly, okay? Let me grab a sip of coffee and we will continue to round 7. Okay, we are now going to start round 7. Once again, we have to get into the beginning chain here, so we're going to chain 1, slip stitch right in there. We're going to chain 3 because we're going to start our beginning shell here. We are now going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh no, I'm sorry, this is yeah, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. See, what I normally do with my patterns is I write the pattern, then I do I write and test another pattern and do pictures, and then I come back and write or edit and photograph this, and then I wait again and I do this so that way I can have fresh eyes, okay? Just like you have fresh eyes when you do a pattern, this way I have fresh eyes when I do the pattern. So round 7, we are doing our beginning shell, our chain 3. We're going to skip this and we're going to do a regular shell right in here. 1, 2, chain 2, there we go, and do a regular shell. Now we are going to chain 2, 1, 2, and this one we did 3 here, 2 here. We're going to put 2 DC, if my thread cooperates. 1, 2, chain 5, 5. And then we're going to put a DC and a DC. Okay. We're going to chain 2 and we're going to put a shell in the next one. Okay. And while I'm at this point, I'm going to take one of my stitch markers and just put it in that chain 5. Okay, just to mark it so that way I can get my piece centered. Now I'm going to do a chain 2, or no, it's chain 3. And I'm going to put a shell and a chain 3 in each one of the next 6. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, that might have been really confusing sounding. I'll wait till I get to the right place and then I'll review for you. But you're just doing shells and chain 3s, and you're going to end up having 7 shells in between each one of the center shells with the 5 chains in between them instead of the 2, okay? I'll review once I get over there. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need a 1 more. 1, come on. 1, 2, 3, and then then I do my shell right here. Okay, so we have our chain 5 right here. We have our shell with the chain 5 here that we put our stitch marker in. Then we have our chain 2, shell, chain 3, 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 and then a shell. Now we're going to do a chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to do our 2DC and our chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to do our chain 2. We're going to put a shell in the next shell space. Okay, now we're going to put our stitch marker right in there. And now we're going to look at it real quick and make sure that they are on opposite sides, which they are. So now we're going to continue the rest of the row doing a chain 3 and a shell in each one, ending with a chain 3, 2, 3, shell, one, 2, 3, shell, we're going to shell in this last shell space here. We're going to end with a chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to put that right there. Okay, now let's double check, and I'm going to see if I have a wrist guard, maybe. Let's see, oh, right over here. Okay, I'm going to put my little thing on and try to get some of my clicking removed for you. So, there we go. Okay. I mean, no more clicking in it. I don't know why I didn't think of that sooner, but you're still going to have clicking from my other wrist. Okay. So, let's double check our row 7 here. Make sure our stitch markers are on the opposite side. And those are just there just to make sure that we have everything centered. We're going to need 7 shells in between here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we are all set there. Let me turn my page. We are now going to be on page 4, round 8. And we will be starting our skulls this round. Okay. We're going to, like I said, always before. Oh, the scratching is now from these. I know some people just don't like that, but like I said, it wards off evil spirits. So now my evil spirits are going to come, half of them. Okay. Got chain 1 and slip stitch in the center. And if you wonder, each one of my bracelets means something. It's a family member, memorial, or memorable moment, stuff like that. Like this one's my mom, me and my husband, my stepmom, my beautiful sister-in-law gave me this one right here. This little diamond one's my daughter. I have one on here that's from my son who's 28 years old. This one has the word mom on it. This one right here is for my sister-in-law. My other sister-in-law, who was like, you need a tiger. So I got tiger's eye and a tiger, because her last name is Tiger. Yeah, and the other one it has other memorable bracelets on it, so that's why I wear them. They're my family, they're my history, and stuff like that. And I can't wear rings, and I have a hard time wearing necklaces because of my different, my lupus and Lyme disease. I have nerve issues, so for some reason I can't wear those things, but I can wear bracelets, so I'm going to just keep on annoying you forever and ever as you watch my videos. Okay, so let's get back to round 8. And oh, tell me, if you wear any bracelets that are memorable, tell me down in the comments down below. Oh my lord, too much caffeine, I guess, even though I'm going to take another sip while I'm talking. So yeah, if you wear bracelets or you have some kind of memorable jewelry, tell me down below. Tell me a little history about it. Because, I mean, jewelry does hold places in people's hearts. Okay? So let's start round 8. We already slip stitched into the beginning shell space here. So we're going to start our beginning shell once again. 2, 1, 2. Okay, now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And put a shell in the next shell space. 1, 2. And then 1, 2, okay, and then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and before I start the next section, I'm going to remove my little stitch marker because it's already served its purpose of centering. Okay, set that right aside. We may use those later for you. Okay, so we have our beginning shell, our chain 3, our beginning shell, and our chain 3. Now we are going to skip this first stitch right here, and we're going to put a triple crochet in this next stitch. Okay, now inside this chain 5 space, we are going to put 1 triple crochet, 9 double crochets, and then another triple crochet. Okay? Seven, 8, 9, and then a triple. Once again, you should have inside this chain 5 space a triple crochet, 9 double crochets, and then another triple. Let me do my second count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 DC. Okay. So now we're going to put a triple crochet in this next stitch right here. And we're going to chain 3. We're going to skip the chain space and we're going to put another shell right in here. Okay. Once again, let me lay this down so you can see it a little easier. Oh, let me get my chain 3 here so that way it's easier to lay this down. Okay. So we now have in the chain 5 space, we're going to be skipping the first stitch, putting a triple crochet in the next stitch, triple crochet, 9 DC, triple crochet in that chain space. Then we're going to put a triple crochet in the next stitch. Okay? Then we're going to skip the stitch, skip the chain, and put a shell in the next shell. We are going to put a chain 3 and shell in each of the next, what do I have here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in the next 6, so that way you have 7 shells on each side. Okay? I will meet you over to when I get to the next stitch marker. Okay, we are at the last regular shell before the stitch marker. One, two, three. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with a chain 3 in between each one. Now we're going to remove our second stitch marker. And once again, we are going to skip this chain space, skip the first stitch, and put a triple crochet in the next. One, two, three, and then inside this chain 5, we're going to put a triple crochet, 9 double crochets, and then another triple. Oops. Do as I say, not as I do. And then 9 double crochets. Oop, I don't like how loose that triple is. Let's do that triple one more time there. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 DC, and then do a triple. And then we put a triple crochet in this next stitch here. Chain 3, skip the stitch, skip the chain space, and go into the next shell space and make a shell. Then we will do our quick count to make sure that that is correct. Okay, let's double check. We have a triple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then a triple and a triple. Okay. Now we're going to, in the rest of the shells here, we're going to put a shell, chain 3 in each one of them. We're going to end with a chain 3, and we're going to join it in the top of the beginning, just like we did the previous row. I will meet you over here. Okay, we're going to join at the top of that one again, and we're going to prep it for the next. And let's go look at our work. Now, we should have these on opposite sides, and we should have 7 in between here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now this is an important little part because we're going to be working one side and forget the other side for a little bit. And I'm also going to mark this on the screen, as well as that way you know where the repeat starts, and I'll do a timestamp for you or marker here. So if I will just tell you right here, page 4. We're going to be starting rows instead of circles or rounds, and so start at this point in the video for the repeat. Okay? Okay, so now we're going to be starting the first side of the long, and then we'll do this later, but remember, this is where you start your repeat. On page 4, row 1, we're going to be working our beginning shell right here. 2, 2. Now we're going to chain 3, skip the chain space, work another shell in the next shell space. Okie dokie. Now we're going to chain 3. We're going to skip the chain space here, and we're going to work a double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. 1, 2. Now we're going to put a half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. Sorry, go 1, 2. Now we're going to single crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please tell me down below if I'm actually making the mark and doing things a little slower for you. I'm trying. And so I'm going to put a half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, and then I'm going to put a double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. 1, 2. Don't forget you can pause at any time. Now we're going to chain 3. And we're going to skip this chain space and put a shell in this shell space here. Chain 3. We're going to shell in the next shell space. Okay, this row is done. We're going to end with a chain 1. Okay, going to check out our work real quick. So this is how far we're going to go in each row. Okay, this is it. And this is going to take us up to the point. Let me pull that picture real quick here. So we're, like I said, we already worked the center. And then we're now working this point right here. Okay. So now we are on round 2, and we're going to flip our piece. Flip it. Okay, and you can see right here that the little stitches, the little hearts are puffed up. So that's the wrong side. If you're okay, so now we're going to go right into that beginning shell right here and start our beginning shell. We are on row 2. Page 4 of the pattern. And now we are going to chain 3. We're going to put another shell in the next shell space. And now we are going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to skip this chain space right here. And we're going to work 2 DC togs, or the DC, or 2 DC cluster stitches in each one of the next 2. Okay. One, 2, and then we are going to chain 1, skip stitch, and DC in the next stitch, 4 times, and this is going to give us our bottom row of teeth. Okay, and now that we have that done, we are going to skip the next stitch, and we're going to put a 2 DC tog in each one of the next 2 stitches, okay? Okay, now we're going to chain 5. And we're going to put a shell in the next shell space. We're going to chain 3 after this, 1, 2, 3, and shell in the next shell space. And chain 1. Let's check our row real quick. Remember, this is the wrong side of the piece, and we have our shell, chain 3, shell, chain 5, 2 DC tog in each of the next 2 stitches, chain 1 and DC across till we get to the neck, till we get to the last, which is 2 DC togs in each one of those stitches, chain 5, shell, chain 3, and shell. Chain 1, and we're going to turn, and we're going to start row 3. Turn our piece. We're going to start our beginning shell once again. Come on, baby. Chain 3 once again here, shell in next shell space, okay, now we are going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we're going to skip the chain space. And we're basically going to repeat this row, skipping the chains in between. So a 2 DC tog in the next stitch here, 2 DC tog in this stitch, chain 1, skip the little chain, DC in the next, chain 1, skip and DC, chain 1, skip and DC, 1, skip and DC, chain 1, we're going to skip this and put 2 DC tog in each one of these, 1, 2, okay, now we're going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and work a shell, chain 3, and a shell. Okay, let's check out our work real quick. I'll keep that right here while I'm changing my page. We're going to be on row 4, page 5. Okay? So now we are going to flip or turn our piece. We're going to work our beginning shell right in this or right in this space right here. 2, 3, we're going to chain 3 and shell in the next shell space. 1, 2, 3, shell in the next shell space. And then we are going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to put 2 DC togs, just like this, but right here, okay? Now you can either put them just in the chain space, or you can put them in each one of these. It's up to you. I'm just going to put them in the chain space. Let's make sure they're a little on the tight side there. Okay, there's 1. And 2. Okay. Now we are going to put a half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, and we're going to single crochet all the way across. Single crochet in each one of the chain spaces and stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So that's 9 single crochets between the HDC and the HDC that we're going to be putting in here. So put an HDC or a half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. 1, 2. Now in this chain space, once again, you can always put it in each one of the chains, or just put in the individual chains, or just put it in the whole chain space itself. I'm going to put it in the chain space. We're going to put 2 DC togs in this space, okay? One, 2, okay? Now we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to shell, chain 3, and shell. And that will finish off our row. One, 2, 3, and shell. We're going to chain 1. And that's going to finish off that row. Okay. So once again, that's a shell, chain 3, shell, chain 4, and then a 2 DC clusters or 2 DC togs in the chain space, half double, 9 single crochets across, half double, 2 DC tog, 2 DC tog, chain 4, shell, chain 3, shell. Okay? Okie dokie. Let me grab my coffee. Okay. So, we are now on row 5, page 5. Okay, we're going to turn. Going to do our beginning shell in right here. Two, buckle my shoe. Okay, now we're going to chain 3 and shell in the next shell space. Now we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to DC together or DC tog in each of the next 2 stitches. 1, 2. Now we're going to DC in the next stitch, or double crochet in the next stitch. We're going to half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So 1, 2, and single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to skip a stitch and put a triple crochet right in this next stitch. This is going to give us 1 nostril of the skull. And now we're going to chain 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to skip this stitch, put single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. One, 2, and then we are going to do a half double crochet in each one of the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, double crochet in the next stitch, and we're going to put 2 DC tog in each one of the next 2 stitches. We're going to chain 4, shell in next shell, chain 3, and shell in the next shell. Okay, let's look at this real quick. Now, if you're not familiar with my printable patterns, you will notice that I'm very wordy, every instructions there, and I have pictures so you can compare your work with the work that you're doing, okay? So just to recap, it's shell, chain 3, shell, chain 4, 2 DC tog, 2 DC tog, regular DC, 2 half double crochets, 2 single crochets, chain 4, skipping a stitch, putting a triple crochet there, chaining 4, skipping a stitch, putting a single crochet in each of the next 2, then 2 half double crochets, a regular DC, and 2 DC togs. Then you have a chain 4, shell, chain 3, and a shell. Okay, let's begin row 6. We are going to start our beginning shell once again. 1, 2, 3. Okay. It's amazing that none of my little fur ball babies are bugging me yet. Okay, so after we do the first shell, we're going to chain 3, shell in the next shell space. Might have spoke too soon. I just heard one running down the hallway. Okay. Now we're going to chain 5 after the second shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to skip the chain space. We're going to skip the next stitch, and we're going to put a 2 DC tog in this next stitch right here. We are now going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to put a 2 DC tog on top of the triple crochet. So we're going to skip these 5 stitches, skip the chain space, and put a 2 DC tog right here. This is going to give us the bridge of our nose. Now we're going to chain 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to skip the next 5 stitches and put a 2DC tog in here. That means we're going to have 1 left over that we're going to be skipping. Going to chain 5, shell, chain 3, and then shell. And then we're going to end it with a chain 1. Okay. Let's review what we did here. Shell, or beginning shell, chain 3, shell. Chain 5, skipping the chain, skipping a stitch, 2 DC tog here, chain 7, we're just going to skip and put a double crochet or DC tog on top of the triple crochet in the center of the nose, chain 7, skipping everything, and putting we're skipping the chain 5 stitches and putting a DC tog in the next stitch. We'll be chaining 5, skipping the stitch, skipping the chain, shell, chain 3, and shell. And if you're hearing like a little bell, it's because my voice is echoing off my bowl here. Okay, I know that some people are sensitive to different sounds and stuff. Okay, we are now changing to page 6, and we are on row 7. We are going to flip this, working our beginning shell in this shell space here. 2, 3, 1, 2, and we are going to be chaining 3 once again. 1, 2, 3, and working a shell in the next shell space. We are then going to be chaining 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are then going to put 1 double crochet in this chain space. You can choose to put it in this last chain right here or put it on the outside. It's up to you how you wish it to look. I'm just going to make a nice tight DC right there. Okay. Now we're going to put a double crochet in the next stitch. We're going to put 8 double crochets in this chain space. Make sure they're nice and tight. You don't want any saggy bottom double crochets there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's count that once again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's easier to add or frog now than to take it all apart. We're going to put a double crochet in the next stitch here. And we're going to put 8 double crochets in this chain space. Remember, no saggy bottoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But you got to remember, saggy bottoms happen. Okay, we're going to put a double crochet in this next stitch. And we're going to put a double crochet right up tight in this chain right here. We are then going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shell, chain 3, and then shell in that last one. And shell. chain 1 to finish off the row. Okay, so we have a shell, chain 3, shell, chain 4, double crochet inside the chain space, double crochet in the next stitch, 8 double crochets in the chain space, double crochet in the chain stitch, or double crochet in the stitch, 8 double crochets in the chain space, double crochet in the stitch, double crochet in the chain space, chain 4, shell, chain 3, shell. Okay, we're going to turn and start row 8. Once again, we're going to make our beginning shell, then we are going to chain 3 and shell in the next chain space, we're now going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to skip the chain space and we're going to put a double crochet in the next stitch. We're going to skip the next stitch and single crochet in each of the next 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're then going to skip the next stitch and single crochet in each of the next 8 stitches. So skip, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, come on. Oops. 8. Then we're going to skip this next stitch and we're going to put a double crochet in the next stitch. We're then going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, skipping the chain and putting a shell in the next shell space. We're then going to chain 3 and put another shell. And then chain 1 to finish off the row. So we have a shell, chain 3, shell, chain 4, skipping the chain space, putting a double crochet in the next stitch, skipping a stitch, single crocheting across 8 stitches, skipping a stitch, single crocheting over the next 8, skipping a stitch, putting a double crochet in, chaining 4, shell, chain 3, shell. Okay? Going to turn this right here and we're going to start row 9. Okay. 2, 3. Do our beginning shell like we've been doing. Now chain 3, consistent as ever. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now we're going to chain 4. We're going to skip the chain space and we're going to work a 2DC decrease over the next 2 stitches, and we're going to do that twice. So yarn over, start your DC in 1 stitch, yarn over through 2, yarn over, put your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up 2 loops, or you now have 2 loops on your thing, go through 2, and then pull through the next 3, okay? We're going to do that twice. Okay. Now we're going to double crochet in each of the next 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. Now we're going to do a 2 DC decrease in each of the next 2 stitches, or over the next 2 stitches here. So insert hook, pull up, or yarn over, pull up a loop, go through 2, yarn over, go through the next stitch, pull up a loop, go through the next 2. Oh. Okay, back where we started. Go through the next 2 stitches here, and then yarn over and go through the next 3. We're going to do that once again over the next 2 stitches. Okay. Now we are going to chain 4 and shell in the next shell space. Shell in the last shell space here, and then we will review. Don't forget to end with a chain 1 at the end of your row. Okay. This is row 9 right here. So we have a shell, chain 3, shell, chain 4. We have 2 double crochet decreases. So 1, 2. We will then double crochet over the next 10 stitches and then do 2 more DC decreases, sets of decreases. Then chain 4, shell, chain 3, shell, chain 1. Okay, we are going to turn and start row 10. Beginning shell here. One, 2, 3. Shell in the next shell space. Okay. We're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Going to skip the chain space and put a double crochet in this next stitch. I like to grab 3 little loops on there instead of the normal 2, and that way it closes that up just a little bit more. And this time we're going to skip the next 2 stitches. So skip, skip, and we're going to put single crochet in the next 8 stitches. So skip, skip, and then single crochet across 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to skip the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, and double crochet in the next stitch. Woo! I said double crochet in the next stitch. Then we're going to chain 4, shell in the next shell space, then we're going to chain 3 and shell in that last shell space. and don't forget to chain 1 to finish off the row. Okay, it's gonna squish in and stuff, but when you do blocking, you will be opening that all up. Okay, so let's review row 10 here. Shell, chain 3, shell, chain 4. You're gonna skip that chain space right there, double crochet in the next stitch. You're gonna skip 2 stitches, single crochet in the next 8 stitches, skip the next 2 stitches, double crochet in the next stitch. You're going to chain 4, shell, chain 3, shell, chain 1 to turn. I'm going to change my page here. We are now on page 7, row 11. I'm going to turn that over. Once again, we're going to do our beginning shell. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. I find that when I crochet slower, I do more mistakes. That's just my brain. Then we're gonna do the shell, chain 3, shell in the next. Okay, we're gonna chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip the chain space. We're gonna double crochet in the next stitch. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches and we're going to single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. We're then going to skip the next 2 stitches and double crochet in the next. Going to chain 4, shell, same as before, sorry about that, shell, chain 3, and shell, and chain 1 to finish off the row there. Let me grab a sip of my coffee real quick. Okie dokie. Now just to review row 11, we did shell, chain 3, shell, chain 4, skipping the chain space, putting a DC in the next stitch, skipping 2 stitches, putting a single crochet in each of the next 4, skipping 2 stitches, double crochet in the next stitch, chain 4, shell, chain 3, shell, chain 1 to turn. We are now on row 12. We're going to turn the piece over and work a beginning shell. Here's where I will bug you again, since we all know what we're doing right here in this little space. How do you drink your coffee? Comment down below. I like mine black and strong. Not overly strong, but I like it strong. I'm not a flavored coffee drinker at all. I don't like the hazelnut or the weird spices or anything like, or vanilla or anything like that. I just drink plain black coffee. Okay, so comment down below on how you like your coffee. Oh, and I'll drink coffee hot, I'll drink it cold. Doesn't bug me whatsoever. Right now, it's about room temperature. Actually, it's kind of cold in my office. I got goosebumps, but if I turn on my space heater, then you'll hear that instead of me talking. Okay, so still on row 12. After we do the shell, chain 3 and shell, we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to skip the chain space and put a triple crochet in the next stitch. We are then going to skip the next 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and put a triple crochet in the next stitch. Going to chain 4 and work our shell, chain 3 and shell. Okie dokie. So let's recap row 12 here. We have a shell, chain 3, shell, chain 4, skipping the chain space, putting a triple crochet in the next stitch, skipping 4 stitches, putting a triple crochet in the next stitch, chain 4, shell in the next shell space, chain 3, shell, and then a chain 1. Okay? We are now going to turn and work our beginning shell in the next shell space. Chain 3 and shell in the next shell space here. Now we are going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to put 2 double crochets in this next chain space. 1, 2. We're going to chain 1 and put 2 double crochets in this next chain space. 1, 2. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and finish off the row like normal. Do the shell, chain 3, and then shell, and then chain 1. Let's do a quick review here for row 13. Shell, chain 3, shell, chain 3, 2 DC in this chain space, chain 1, 2 DC in this chain space, chain 3, shell, chain 3, shell, chain 1, so we can turn. Okay, now let me snap my finger back in place here. And then we're going to go to row 14, so we're going to turn the piece over again, work our beginning shell, chain 3, working our shell in the next shell space here, we're now going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to put a shell in this next shell space right here, or this next little space right here, which is a chain 1. Okay. So we're going to be working our 2 DC, chain 2, just making a regular shell right in that space. We're going to chain 2, skip the chain space, working our shell, and just basically finishing the row as we've been doing. Shell, chain 3, shell, and a chain 1. Okie dokie, let's review real quick. So row 14, beginning shell, chain 3, shell, chain 2, skipping the 2 stitches, working a shell in that little single chain space, chain 2, skipping that chain space, working a shell, chain 3, shell, chain 1 so we can turn. I'm going to start row 15 now. Beginning shell in that shell space, just like we've been doing. Still chain in the 3, shell in the next shell space. We're then going to chain 2, 1, 2, and in this shell space right here, we're going to chain 2, or sorry, we're going to put 2 double crochets, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put 2 double crochets in that same space, going to chain 2, shell in the next shell space, just finishing off the row as we've been doing. So shell, chain 3, shell, chain 1, okay, and that will finish off our row. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's review row 15 real quick. So we have shell, chain 3, shell, chain 2, and then in this shell space right here, we do 2 double crochets, chain 5, 2 double crochets, chain 2, shell, chain 3, shell, chain 1 to turn. Let me turn the page here. We are now on page 8, row 16. We are going to be starting the heart right up here. Okay, so same as before, beginning shell, then we're going to chain 3 and shell in the next shell space. Okie dokie. Now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Gonna skip the chain space. Ooh, my stomach's gurgling, sorry if you hear that. Skip the chain space, skip the next 2 stitches, and we're gonna work 3 double crochet in this chain space right here. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and finish off the row like we've been doing. So shell, chain 3, shell, chain 1. Don't forget to end with your chain 1 so we can turn. Quick review of row 16. Shell, chain 3, shell, chain 3. We have 3 double crochets in the center chain space, shell, chain 3, shell, single crochet. Okay, now for row 17, we're going to flip, work our beginning shell, chain 3, work our next shell, Now we're going to chain 2, skip the chain space here. So 1, 2, skip chain space. And we're going to put 2 double crochets in each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. That will give us 6 double crochets in that same spot. So we're going to chain 2, shell, chain 3, shell, chain 1, just like we did before. So relatively quick and easy pattern that does actually pack a punch. Okay, let's do a quick review. So shell, chain 3, shell, chain 2, double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, giving you 6 double crochet here. Chain 2, shell, chain 3, shell, chain 1, so we can turn. Just a quick note, because it just popped in my head, the name of this pattern, Between Two Hearts, is, I was inspired by the name of one of Rodney James Dio's songs. I'm a big Dio fan. Chilly. I might have to pause real quick and turn on my heater for a little bit to warm up my room. But if you want to hear some of his music, just go to there's a playlist of his music, or I will be happy to put that song down, a link to it for YouTube down below. Yeah, so I find inspiration anywhere. Okay, so let's move on to row 19 and see if I can not freeze to death before I have to pause and let you guys start your repeats. So we're starting row 18. We're going to flip. We're going to work our beginning shell just like before. If you're wondering, why is it so cold in her office? Well, because we don't have our furnace doesn't work on our second floor. But that's okay. We have space heaters in the only room that we need a space heater. And since I was thrown into menopause real quick, full-blown menopause, I don't mind the cold. I embrace the cold now. So it does kind of help. I can live without a heater, but I can't live without air conditioning. Okay, so we're on row 18. So you do a shell, chain 3, or your beginning shell, chain 3, and shell. Now we are going to chain 2. We're going to skip the chain space, put 2 double crochet in the next stitch. 1, 2, double crochet in the next stitch, 2 DC in the next stitch, double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then 2 double crochet in the next stitch, 1, 2, gonna chain 2, finish off the row like we've been doing, shell, chain 3, shell, chain 1. Let's do a quick review here. So row 18, we're going to do our beginning shell, chain 3, shell, chain 2, and then we're going to put 2 DC in the next stitch, single DC, 2 DC in the next stitch, single DC in each of the next 2 stitches, and 2 double crochet in the next stitch. This will give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 DC right there. Okay? And then of course it's the chain 2, shell, chain 3, shell, chain 1. Going to start row 19. Beginning shell as always. One, two, three. Then shell in the next shell space, just like we've been doing. Now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, 2 DC in next stitch, 1, 2, DC in next stitch, 2 double crochet in the next stitch, double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, just a single, 1, 2, 3. Now 2 double crochet in the next stitch, 1, 2, single double crochet right here, so another double crochet. Now we're going to put 2 double crochets in the next stitch, going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then finish off the row like we've been finishing off the row. Don't worry, I'll go over that when I lay it down and review the row. Three. And that single one to finish off the row. Okay, so row 19, shell, chain 3, shell, chain 2, then it's 2 DC, and you're going to skip that chain space there. It's 2 double crochet in the next stitch, single crochet, a single double crochet, 2 double crochets, a regular DC in each of the next 3, so 1, 2, 3, 2 DC in the next stitch, 1 DC in the next stitch, and 2 DC in the next stitch. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That gives us 13 stitches right there. Chain 2, shell, chain 3, shell, chain 1. Okay? I'm going to change pages here. We are now on row 20. We're going to flip that over. We're going to start our beginning shell and start the row just like we did before. Shell or beginning shell, chain 3, shell. Okay? One, two, three, and then shell. Okay, we are now going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to work a 2 DC decrease over the next 2 stitches. So, okay. We're going to put a double crochet in the next stitch. Do another decrease over the next 2 stitches. I'm going to chain 2. We're going to slip stitch into this next stitch right here. Loosen up my stitch. There we go. Now we're going to chain 2. We're going to DC in the next stitch. Ooh, wait a minute. Oh, looky, looky, I messed up. Woohoo! Remember, do as I say, not as I do. Let's go back real quick. You do a decrease over the 2 stitches, single DC, decrease over the next 2 stitches, and then double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, that's going to give you 4 stitches right there. So 2 decreases and 2 double crochets. Okay, now we're going to chain 2. Now we're going to go in the right spot. Slip stitch into the next stitch, then chain 2 again, and then double crochet in the next stitch, decrease over the next 2, decrease or DC in the next stitch, and then decrease over the next 2. I'll review that in just a minute when we get through the row. And now we're going to chain 3, and then shell, chain 3, shell, chain 1. Come on. Okay, don't forget to end with a single crochet or a single chain there. Okay, let's review this. You have the beginning shell, chain 3, shell, chain 3, a DC decrease over 2 stitches, double crochet in the next stitch, a DC decrease over 2 stitches, and a double crochet in the next stitch. Chain 2, slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 2, double crochet in the next stitch, DC decrease over the next 2, double crochet in the next, a decrease over the next 2, chain 3, shell, chain 3, shell, chain 1. Okay? And once again, it's easy, like I said, if you have the pattern next to you, that always helps out. Okie dokie, let's start row 21. Gonna turn, work our beginning shell just as before. Then we're going to work our chain 3 and the shell next to it. Okay, chain 3, work our shell in the next shell space. Okay, we are now going to work a chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip the chain space and double crochet in the next stitch. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches and slip stitch into the next stitch. We are then going to chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to skip the next 2 chain spaces and the slip stitch, so 1, 2, and we're going to put slip stitch on top of the next stitch, which is that DC right there. Okay, we're now going to skip the next 2 stitches and put a double crochet in that next stitch. We're then going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, finish off the row as before, shell, chain 3, shell. Don't forget to end with a chain 1 so we can do a quick flip. Okay, this is row 21 here. Do our beginning shell, chain 3, shell, chain 3, skip the chain space, double crochet in the next stitch. We're going to be skipping 2 stitches, slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 7, skipping the 2 little chain spaces here, slip stitching into the next stitch, skipping 2 stitches, DC in the next stitch, chain 3, shell, chain 3, shell, chain 1 to turn. Let's head to row 22. Okay. Start our beginning shell, just same as always. Same as we've been doing, shell, chain 3, shell. Okie dokie, same as always. And we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to skip this chain space and work a shell right in this chain space right here that my hook is in, okay? Chain 3. We're going to finish off the row like we've been finishing off the row, shell, chain 3, shell, chain 1. Okie dokie, let's review this row. This is row 22. So we do our beginning shell, chain 3, shell, chain 3, skipping the chain space, working a shell in the next chain space, chain 3, shell, chain 3, shell, chain 1 to turn. Okay. Now we're going to start our beginning shell once again. 1, 2, 3, beginning shell. Here we go. Chain 3 and do another shell in the next shell space. Okay, now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, skip the shell space, work a shell in the next shell space, 1, 2, 1, 2, shell, 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 gonna chain 2, shell in the next shell space, chain 3, shell, chain 1, just like we did before. Don't forget to do your chain 1s for the turn. Okay, let's review row 23 here. It almost looks like a sacred heart a little bit right there. Okay, my Catholic's coming out. Yeah. I was raised as a non-practicing Catholic, so my Catholic's coming out. Let's see here. We have our beginning shell, chain 3, shell, chain 2, shell in the shell space, chain 2, shell, chain 3, shell, chain 1 to turn. Okay, I'm going to turn my pages here because we are now on page 10, row 24. We're going to turn, work, or do our beginning chain, or in our beginning shell, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now before you go ahead and we're going to do chain 2 between the shells this time, okay? So after our beginning, we chain 2, and then we work our shell in the next shell space. We're then going to chain 2. We're going to put a single crochet in that shell space right there. Going to chain 2. And then we're going to shell, chain 2, and shell, chain 1 to finish off the row. So remember, we're doing a chain 2, not a chain 3 in between those two shells right there. Because we're slowly closing up this point. Okay, let's review row 24. So you have a shell, chain 2, shell, chain 2, single crochet in the shell space, chain 2, shell in the next shell space, chain 2, shell, chain 1 to turn. Okay, let's start row 25. Work our beginning shell just like before. And then we're going to work a chain 2 between the two shells. Okay, now we're going to skip this chain space, skip this stitch, skip this chain space, and we're going to work a shell right in here. No chains in between. This is all skipped, and we're going directly to here. Then we're going to chain 2 and do our last shell right there. And don't forget to chain 1 so we can do our turn. Okay, let's review. So we have our beginning shell, chain 2, shell. We're skipping the 2 chains and the stitch, going directly to make a shell in the next shell space, chain 2, shell, chain 1 to turn. Let's move on to row 26. Okay. Going to start our beginning shell once again. Okie dokie. Now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. We're going to put 2 double crochets in here and 2 double in here. Okay, so we're going to put 2 and 2. We're going to skip all these and put 2 in this next shell space right here. Going to chain 2. We're going to finish off the row with a shell and a chain 1. Okay, let me push back up my sleeves here. Okay, let's review row 26. Oh, I didn't do my chain 1 there. Come on, chain 1. Okay, I have a shell, chain 2, 2 DC in this shell space, 2 DC in this shell space, chain 2, shell, and a chain 1 to turn. Let's go to row 27. Do our beginning shell. Okie dokie here. Now we're going to chain 2. We're going to skip this chain space, skip these 2 stitches, and put a double crochet right in between there, in the center of it all. Okay? Then we're going to chain 2 and do a shell in the next shell space, and don't forget your chain 1, so that way we can turn. Let's review row 27. You have a shell, chain 2, a double crochet in between, in the center there, chain 2, shell, chain 1. Okay, now in the pattern, there's going to be row 28A, and then it will have you repeat to row 1 of the pattern, and then the next side you will be ending with a row 28B. But we are currently, for this first side, when we come back, I will be ending right here, and after you go back and do your repeat, you'll see me come back this way, and I will be working row 28B with you, okay? But for now, this is 28A. So we're going to be turning over. Okay, once again, this right here is row 27. Shell, chain 2, DC, shell, chain 2, that, okay? Working row 28A. We're going to do our beginning shell. Okay, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. We're going to put, this is going to be a little bit different of a shell. This is an ending shell, okay? And I was taught this little trick by one of my wonderful testers named Margie, because this way it's easier to hide the tail, okay? So we're doing our beginning shell, chaining 2. We're going to put 2 DC in the next shell space, chain 2, putting another DC. Now we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to put a slip stitch right next to it. Okay? And we're going to fasten that off. Get your tail. Cut that. Okay. And then that's going to finish that off. And you can see that now where that ends, it's easier to tuck in and weave in your end. Okay, so at this point, I need you to go back to page 4 of the pattern. Okay, page 4 of the pattern, where it says the start of the repeat. Let's see, hopefully it's centered there. Right here for row 1. I'll put a timestamp in the pattern here, or the video here, so you can go back to that. Okay, and I will see you at the end once more, and we will start 28B together. Okay, see you soon. Okay, I'm back again real quick. Make sure. Okay, I'm back here real quick, and I forgot to tell you about how to start the next row. So I'm horrible at that. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, so what we're going to do is, it's going to, just like this row, it's kind of self-explanatory. You work in directly the opposite side. So you're going to be working in, this is going to be where you start your row, your repeat. Okay, remember, you're on the right side. Your hearts are facing this way. Otherwise, they're poofy on the other side. And so then you're going to be starting your row right at this one. And you're going to be working the shell. The skull's going to be right here. You're going to be working this shell and then this shell. Okay? So this is the area you're going to be working your second half in. Okay? So I will see you after you work this again on this side. I will see you at the very end. Okay? So when you get to these two little points right here, please stop and then hit play once more, and we will continue on and finish the border from there. Okay? Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you finished the second side. Okay, and this is my row 27 right here, and now I'm going to be working the row 28B with you. It's just like like A, but we're not going to be finishing off. We're just going to be continuing on. So we're going to do our, make sure I'm recording here. Yes, I am. Okay, we're going to be doing our beginning shell just like before. Then we are going to be chaining 2. And we're going to be skipping these 2 chains and the stitch and working a shell right in here, a regular shell. Okay, ready? And then we're going to chain 5, so that way I can show you this row and prep for the next row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 28B is a shell, a chain 2, a regular shell. Okay, now we are going to be working around the outside. We're going to be working the border. Okay, there's only 2 border rounds, and it's actually very simple. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure if I had my mic on the last first section, because I'm still getting used to it, so I apologize if all of a sudden I'm louder. Okay, but we got to get used to new technology. Okay, so now we're going to be working rounds, which we're going to be going all the way around. Okay, however, we're going Okay. Yeah. Remember, I haven't worked this in a little bit. I worked some doilies in between this, so we're going to be doing this together. So right now we are currently working on the wrong side. Okay. So we're just going to keep going around on this side. The wrong side, as you can see, the hearts are puffy. Okay. You got little puffy butts right there. Little puffy hearts. Okay. This is the right side. You can see they're flatter. Right now we're working on the wrong side, so don't worry about flipping it. Just after this shell, we're just going to keep carrying on, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to work a single crochet in the top of the next stitch, or chain space, okay? Because remember, we used a chain in our turning to start our shells, okay? So we're going to be chaining 5 and single crocheting in that top stitch right there. Okay, then we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and right where, remember when we chained 1 to turn to then do our beginning chain, we're going to go right in that little top of the last double crochet, okay, of a shell. So we're going to be working our single crochets in the top of the beginning chains and the top of the stitches. Hope that makes sense. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now it's the top of the beginning chains turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the top of the double crochet right there's turn. Okay, does that make sense? You're basically doing the peak of each one of them. Now we're going to repeat this all the way down. That's a total of 28, or you're going to have 28 loops, okay? 28 of these little loops, because you're going to work it all the way down till you get to here, okay? And that's where the flat meets the rounded edge, okay? So let's keep working. We'll work this one together. We won't skip ahead. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the top of beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the top of a DC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can skip ahead if you would like to. Otherwise, I'm just going to carry on and be quiet while we finish crocheting this to the right point, okay? And I will see you down in the middle. Okay. Now, we are finished this side right here, this first top part. You should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Okay? So 27 little loops right there. Okay? Now we are going to chain 4. We're going to single crochet in this next chain space. Or sorry, no, we're going to half double crochet in this next chain space. We're going to chain 4 and then half double crochet in there, and then in the shell space, chain 4, half double crochet in the next chain space, chain 4, half double crochet in the next chain space, chain 4, half double crochet in the next chain space, half double crochet in the next chain space, okie dokie, come on, good, thank you. Now we're going to chain 4. Okay, so you should have a chain 4, a half, chain 4, 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 half. Okay, and then we're going to end that little rounded section with the chain 4. We're then going to work the same idea right here all the way to the top. Okay, so we're going to be doing this 28 times. So you have chain 4 here, and you're going to, this time we're going to go and crochet in the top of the DC first, and then we're going to go, we're kind of working the mirror image of this. So the DC we're single crocheting in, chaining 4, and then single crocheting in the top of the chain space. Chain 4, top of the DC, chain 4, top of the beginning of the chain, and then we're going to carry on all the way till we get to this tip right here. Okay, so when you get to this tip, you stop, and when I get to that tip, I'm going to stop, and I will meet you there for the next little bit of info. Okay, we're coming up to the last little chain 4 space, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to crochet in the last little beginning chain of the shell right there. Okay, now what we're going to do is chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to single crochet in this shell space right here. Okay, now we're going to, in this chain 2 space right at the top, we're going to put 2 DC, a chain 5, and 2 DC. Okay, and then we're going to put a single crochet right into the next shell space, and we're going to chain 4. Let's review this little end area right here. So we're going to be doing our chain 4s and single crochets all the way up here, and then when we get to the tip, you have the single crochet at the very corner, chain 4, and you're going to single crochet inside that shell space, and then in this chain 2 space you're going to do 2 DC, chain 5, 2 DC. Next you're going to put a single crochet inside that little chains or that shell space right there. Now we're going to work our way down once more, just like we did right here. So please do that. And then we're going to do the center, which is the chain 4s and half double crochets in each spot. Okay, I'm going to work this spot, and then I will meet you right here and we'll work this one together. Oop, forgot to mention 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to be crocheting in the top right here. Okay, you have, remember how you did the chain 2 to work your way down right here? And you did the DC and the chain 2. That was how we ended the first half. You're going to put a single crochet in the top of that right there. Okay? So don't forget to do that. That's very important for consistency on both sides and for the ending. Okay, so make sure you get your chain 4 and your single crochet in that little tip right there. That way you can see how they're mirror imaged right there. Okay, don't forget that, because otherwise your row is going to be messed up and you're going to be wondering, why didn't that work? Okay, so make sure you get that little space right there. Now work your chain 4s and your single crochets all the way down. Okay, we just did our way down, and now we're about to start the rounded area right here. Okay, once again, that is a chain 4 and half double crochet in each one of those little spaces. 2, 3, 4, and a half double. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a half double. 1, 2, 3, 4, half. 1, 2, 3, 4, half. 1, 2, 3, 4, half. 1, 2, 3, 4. Half. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a half. There. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So it's chain 4s and half doubles in this area right here. Okay. So now we're going to be working up this side right here. Same as before, chain 4, single crochet in the top. Okay. And you work your way over, and I will meet you right here at this point. Okay. I'll see you there. Okay, I am now at the end, and I'm at the end shell right here, which then I'm going to single crochet right at the top. I'm then going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, put a single crochet right in that shell space. Then we're going to put 2DC, chain 5, and 2DC in this chain space right here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 2 more double crochets. 1, 2, and then we're going to put a single crochet right in this one. Okay, then we're going to do another 4, and we're going to put a slip stitch right in that top stitch right there. Okay, and this is going to finish off this round. So slip stitch right there. Okay, and if you want to make a chain 1 right now, so that way it's easier to turn, go right ahead. So we're going to flip it over, and now we're going to start on the right side. Okay, this is the right side. If you don't flip it and you do the next round, it might be a little weird, but it still will work. But the instructions aren't going to really match up to what I'm doing here and showing you, or what the pattern is. But don't worry, you can just kind of fudge it or whatnot, or frog it and turn back around. Okay, so this is the wrong side. You can see my hook is on what would be my left right here. So we're going to flip it, and now the hook is on my right side. Okay, remember, right, left. Love that trick, you know. Okay, so now we're going to work round 2, and that is page 12. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we are going to single crochet. Ooh, wait a minute, I gotta read this real quick. Okay, slip stitch next chain space, which is, okay, we're going to slip stitch. No wonder why I was confused too. See, we're both like reading this pattern for the first time here almost. So we're going to, even my patterns I kind of, woohoo, you know. Okay, so we're going to working this way once more, counterclockwise. We're going to, actually I was shown a neat trick for lefties and righties, that if I reverse my whole tape, I'm crocheting left-handed. That's fantastic. So if there's any lefties out there that want me to do that, I will be happy to invert any of my things and republish those if you so desire. Okay? But for round 2, the final round of the board, or the final border, we're going to chain 1, going to slip stitch into that chain space right there. Then we are going to single crochet in that same space. Got it? So we're going to work our way into, we're going to do that one more time just in case. We have our chain 1 right there. Slip stitch in there. Chain 1. Single crochet. Okay? Now we are going to skip these stitches. There's 3 of them, 1, 2, 3. And we're going to be working in this chain space right here at this top, the chain 5 space. Okay? We're going to put 2 double crochets. 1, 2. Now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to put a single crochet right at the top here. Single crochet right at the top of that last stitch we made. Okay? And that gives us a little picket, however you would like to say it. Gives you a little bumpity bump right there. Okay? Now we're going to make 2 DC in this chain space once more. 1, 2. Okay. This time we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to double crochet into the top of the last stitch we just made. Now we are going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to single crochet into the top of the last stitch we made, which is this one. We're going to make another little bumpity bump bump. Okay. Now we're going to DC in top of that same stitch right there, that last stitch we made. Put a double crochet. And now we're going to chain 3. And we're going to slip stitch, put a little slip stitch right in that same spot right there on top. Okay. I'll review this in just when we get this part done. Now we're going to put 2 DC right in this same space. One, 2, okay. Now we're going to make another little bumpity bump bump. 3, then put a single crochet in top of that last stitch we made. Okay, and now we're going to put 2 more DC right in this space. Okay, and then we're going to put a single crochet. We're going to skip these 3 stitches and put a single crochet right here. Okay, I'm going to do a small chain right here so I can set this down easier and get the hook out of the way. Okay, so don't do the chain right there. That's for me, not you. Okay, so this right here, we started out with a single crochet because we moved our beginning and we started our single crochet right there. Then inside the big chain 5 space, I put 2 double crochets, chained 3, put a single crochet on top of that last DC we made. Then I put 2 more double crochets in that chain 5 space. I then chained 3 and I put a double crochet in top of that last stitch I made. Then I chained 3 and we made another little bumpity bump bump, and I put a single crochet in top of the last stitch made there. Then I put a double crochet in top of this stitch. Let's get out another hook. Put a double crochet in top of this stitch. Then I chained 3 and I put a slip stitch in top of there. I then made 2 double crochets. And I made another little bumpy bump bump by chaining 3, single crocheting in top of this one. Then did 2 more double crochets, skipped these 3 stitches, and put a single crochet right there. Okay, so feel free to rewind that or whatnot. We're going to be doing another one of those at the opposite end, so I will stop and make sure that one you hopefully understand it at that side too. Okay, because if you're like me, you might forget from here to there. It's all good. Okay, so let me frog this out real quick, get back to where we ended that. Now I'm going to be working down here. Basically, we're going to be working, the next section is going to be working from this tip right here all the way down to here. Okay, and then I will meet you in the center. So you start off with a single crochet right there, then you chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're going to single crochet in the next chain space, and you're going to put a shell with a little bumpity bump in this next one. So we're going to do 2 double crochets, do a chain 3, creating that little bumpity bump bump, so single crochet in top of the last stitch you made, then put 2 more DC, and then single crochet into the next chain. Okay, now we're going to chain 5 again, put a single crochet in this next chain space. We're going to crochet another one of those little shells with a bumpity bump bump. I just like saying that, bumpity bump bump. Okay, so 2 DC in the next chain, chain 3, single crochet in the top of that, 2 DC, and then single crochet in the next one. Okay, keep going all the way down till you end with a single crochet in this last one right here before you get to the chain before the HD. Okay, I will meet you right here. Just said sorry to everybody that I dinged that while it was quiet crochet time, because a lot of people don't like how I waffle on while I crochet. So it's not my fault. I'm a talkative person. I'm almost coming to the end here, so I will do a recap in just a second after I get my round done here. Okay, I think I need to get a bigger black board here, but this will do. It's just a show because they're very similar, the accrue or the natural thread and my background here. Okay, so I'm down over here at the end of my border here, or this section of the border. So just to recap, it was a single crochet, chain 5, single crochet, shell with a little bumpity bump, single crochet, chain 5, single crochet, shell with a bumpity bump bump, and you're doing that all the way down, so you will end up having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 shells with the bumps, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 chain 5 spaces. Okay, so now we're going to start with this right over here, which we are going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to put a single crochet in here in this next chain space. Then we're going to work our shell with the bump bump, so 2 double crochets. Okay, let's see if we can get this done. There's always something that goes wrong with whenever I do this. There's always something that goes wrong. Okay, my battery died. I guess I have too much stuff plugged in, but my battery died. So it died right when I was doing this chain 5 here on this side of it. So we're just going to, so I'm just going to review real quick. So when you get to, we started here, you do all these. We're going to work the center right over here, okay? Then you are repeating this, and you're going to get up to that top section again, where you work a single crochet in the top. Then in the chain 5 space, you're going to work 2 double crochets, a bumpity bump bump, which is a chain 3 and a single crochet in the top. You're going to put 2 double crochets in there, chain 3, double crochet in top of that last stitch you made. You're going to make a chain 3 and a single crochet in top of this last stitch you made. Then you're going to DC in top of this stitch, chain 3, and then slip stitch in top of there. You're going to then work your 2 double crochets and work another little bumpity bump bump, and then work 2 more double crochets, single crochet, chain 5, single crochet, work the shell with the bump bump. You're going to work that all the way down to the center. Let me see if I'm still recording. Yes, I'm still recording. Okay, you know I'm not a tech person. So, okay. So now we're at the point of the video where the last one was and cut off. So now we're going to work the center part, which is exactly the same as the other side. You're just going to mirror it out. I don't feel like frogging the whole entire thing, okay? And you know as well as I do, you've been there, done that, you hate frogging too. Okay, so after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So after you get to your 9 chain spaces and 9 little shell with the bump bumps, you come to this part right here, which then you're going to single crochet in the next stitch or the next chain space. You're going to be doing a shell with the bump bump in the next chain space. Remember, that is 2 double crochets, chain 3, and a single crochet on the top of the last stitch made, and then 2 more double crochets in that same little spot. Okay, now we're going to put a single crochet in the next chain space. Going to chain 5. We're going in this chain space right here, we are going to put a single crochet and 2 double crochets. We're going to be working one of those little bumpity bump bumps. So we're going to chain 3, slip or chain or single crochet, top of the last stitch made, and then in this chain space we're going to put 2 double crochets and a single crochet. Okay, now we're going to chain 5, we're going to single crochet in the next chain space. In the next chain space right here, we're going to do another one of the shells with the bump bumps. So I'm going to have people saying shell with the bump bumps, shell with the bump bumps. I got all the way to the end and I finished off the piece, thought I was recording, and nope, 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 nope. So I frogged back down to where the thing was, where the tape kind of ended, because you're repeating both sides anyways. It's a mirror image. Okay, so after this one, we're going to single crochet in the next chain space, and basically just keep going. Chain 5, single crochet in the next one, do your bumpity bump bump with the shell, so I do apologize for that cutting out. I don't know why it actually did that, but luckily this is a repeat type thing, so you can just rewind the video. And don't forget, you can pick up your pattern, your printable pattern, on Etsy and Ravelry. I sell the majority of my patterns for $2.99. Ravelry is actually a nicer place to buy patterns from. They have less fees that they take away from me, as well as it's easier to store a pattern because they have a library that you can store it in, and it's easier to download and print. Etsy, for some reason, is not the biggest fan of PDFs, but if you do order from Etsy and you have a problem downloading your pattern, just feel free to message me and I'll be happy to just send you a regular email with it, okay? So we're just repeating that single crochet in a chain space, and then single crochet in the next chain space, and then do your bumpity bump, your shell with the bump bumps. We're just doing that all the way to the end. So sorry if this last row gets a little confusing, a little wishy-washy here. But we all know technology sucks. But then it's a good, technology's good, and then it's also really horrible all at the same time. Because you never know. You just never know. And the part that I think got technologically erased or never recorded, I believe I was saying that if you wanted to support my artistry, I have an Amazon wish list, so feel free to purchase from there. It's all art supplies. If you would like me to share something that you make online, or like in one of my coffee time videos, feel free to message me. I will be happy to give you my address, and you can send me like a surprise of something to do with your business, and I'll be happy to open it on the air. Give me a little bit of clue what your business is, that way I won't be totally shocked and stuff like that. But you will get a first-hand recollection, or first-hand knowing my reaction to what you have done, okay? If you want to share with me your finished piece of any type of pattern that I have written, and even if it's something you created that I didn't write, please feel free. See, right there, I have a little Russian knot. because of the fact that I was finished and I had to cut it to frog and stuff like that. Russian knots can be found. You can look that up on YouTube. It's a great little thing. Quick and easy. I do it a lot with doilies. Was hoping not to do it with this doily, but hey, beggars can't be choosy. Let me see if I can get this a little tighter here. 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to go 4 with that last one just because of that stupid knot right there. So that way I can try to hide it. Come on, come on. But oh, there's the little tail from the last one. So then you're going to, with your last chain 5, you're going to join it on top of the first single crochet there. Okay? Then you're going to fasten it off and tuck in your ends. And I don't remember what I was saying before, but we won't worry about it. So then you just tuck in your ends and call it good. So pattern's name is Between Two Hearts, and you can find it on Ravelry and Etsy. I will have those links down below, and if you wanted to do something for me off my wish list, that link is in my link tree. Or want to share any of your finished pieces, even, oh, that's what I was saying, even if it's not my pattern and you want to show me your colorways or how you photograph your beautiful picture of it, just message me on Instagram, Etsy, Facebook, and send me a picture of it, okay? I'm on TikTok too, so if you can send a picture that way, through there too, if you feel more comfortable that way, do that as well. So until next time, you have a wonderful